Good evening and welcome to the West Milton Council meeting, April the 10th, 2018. I would like to welcome everybody for that meeting and ask that everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Steve from the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gracious Heavenly Father, indeed it is a blessing that you are present with us this evening. It is a blessing for which we give you our thanks. We ask that you will be with us in our deliberations and discussions, and that you will guide us in all that we say and do. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Miller,
Here.
Lyon,
Here.
Cobb. Here. Hurst,
Here.
Vogel,
Here.
Dorman,
Here.
and Rudy. Here.
Thank you. There were no absent council members at our workshop, is that correct? Okay. Council should have received minutes from the council meeting on March 13th and also a special council session on March the 27th. Are there any motions regarding those minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the council meeting minutes from March 13th, 2018, and the special council session on March 27th, 2018. Second.
Roll call.
Lyon,
Yay.
Cobb,
Yes.
Hurst,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Rudy. Yes. And Mayor Miller.
Yes. Moving on to correspondence to council. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one this evening. We have a correspondence from the Ohio Department of Liquor Control informing us that there is an application of transfer a license from the West Milton Food Mart, Inc. to a new company called the West Milton Stop and Go, Inc., doing business as the West Milton Shell. New owner's name is Lackwinder Chima. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly, I apologize. Police Department has also been informed of this transfer, and after review, finds no reasons to object to the transfer. As always, the Ohio Department of Liquor Control does require a voice vote if you want to have a hearing or not have a hearing. Our recommendation is there's no reason to have a hearing.
At this time, are there any motions?
Make motion not to have a hearing.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
That's all the correspondence for tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Sarah, second. Thank you, Manager Klein. I'd like to open the floor to comments from citizens regarding tonight's legislation. It includes two pieces of legislation. The first one's a resolution for the final plan for the Stillwater crossings, and the second one is a resolution contract with Choice One. Are there any comments from citizens this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to ordinances and resolutions. First up is CM-18-12, a resolution, final plan for Phase 1 Stillwater Crossings Development. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution accepting the final plan of subsequent lot splits for Phase 1 of the Stillwater Crossings development. Whereas the Planning Board and Council have approved the Stillwater Crossings preliminary plan development through the passage of Ordinance CM-17-18 and by the creation of the TIF districts through ordinances CM-17-19 and CM-17-20. And whereas the developer has submitted Phase 1 of the final plan for Stillwater Crossings by substantially conforming to the preliminary plan as required by Section 150.240C of the Code of Ordinances. Said plan, including 41 single-family lots totaling 8.749 acres, 3 multifamily lots totaling 21.566 acres, 6 commercial lots totaling 8.392 acres, 6 open space lots totaling 11.542 acres, 1 preservation lot totaling 8.193 acres, and dedicated street rights or way totaling 13.139 acres. And whereas the West Milton Planning Board has approved the Stillwater Crossings Phase 1 of the final plan as submitted. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the council approves Phase 1 of the Stillwater Crossings Plan Development, which is attached. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Thank you. Manager Klein?
Thank you, Mayor, council, guests, this evening, welcome. I've asked Tom, I gave Tom the PDF, and we'll try to pop that up on the screen for everyone to see. It's really page 3 and 4. This is page 4, this is the final page that's attached to the ordinance. If you try to get a look, what that is the majority of the single-family homes on the right-hand side of that is 571. Those larger lots along 571 are your commercial lots. It shows the main boulevard coming in, and then it will go along what that street is going to be called Rachel Ann Boulevard. Rachel Ann Boulevard will bring you right into the first phase of the single-family homes. There will be a circle there. For these plats, you don't need to show the circle. That's more construction drawings. And then along that will be various commercial activities along 571. And then let's go to the next page, Tom, please. Thank you. And then along the right-hand side again is 571. That takes you up. Along that right-hand side is the other commercial lots. There in the main corner is going to be the assisted living facility. As the resolution said, there's really just 3 multi-family lots. It's where Joyce Lane East and West is located. It's those lots there. And then on the far left-hand side is the remainder of Rachel Ann Boulevard where it cul-de-sacs, and that's the remaining of the original 41 single-family homes. This does conform almost exactly to the preliminary plan as it's supposed to. But what you're really doing on a final plan is now approving the lot splits. You're approving the actual creation of the lots. So now the developer has something to sell to builders, business owners, etc. So the final plan is essentially the lot splits. It is allowed, by our code, it is allowed to be done in phases. This is the first phase of probably 3, I'm guessing, phases. Could be 4. And so it's all of the commercial, first 41 of the residential, and all of the multifamily. And just to remind everyone, the multifamily is independent units that will be members of the assisted living facility, or that whole thing will be a campus.
Just one question, Manager Klein. As we go through the phases, we'll be passing more of the same
Yes.
languages, correct?
Yeah, the actual, I'm anticipating the actual next phases are just going to be finishing off the single-family homes.
The rest of the lots?
The rest of the lots, yeah. That's all it's going to be left.
Am I reading some of the lot sizes correct? Is small as .179?
60-foot frontages for each of the houses. That's what it's always been. upwards to 75 feet, but those are corner lots, or 80 feet. But most all of them are 60 feet. Thank you.
There, any other questions? Is there any motions for the,
Make a motion, we accept resolution CM-18-12 as written.
Second.
roll call, please?
Lamb.
Yes.
Pop. Yes. Kurtz.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudy. Yes. And Mayor Miller.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our second piece of legislation this evening is CM-18-13, a resolution contract choice one for sanitary sewer to Ludlow Falls. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution to authorize the municipal manager to contract with Choice One Engineering for the design of the sanitary sewer system to connect the village of Ludlow Falls. Whereas it has been determined through a study and various public hearings that it is imperative that the village of Ludlow Falls needs a sanitary sewer system to serve their homes and businesses. And whereas the study further determined that the best option for the village of Ludlow Falls is to connect with the municipality of West Milton's current sanitary sewer system. And whereas the municipality of West Milton, on behalf of Ludlow Falls, has been awarded a grant in the amount of $1,075,000 from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for design and construction of said sewer system. And whereas the municipality of West Milton has budgeted $250,000 in the 2018 budget for engineering and design of the system. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the council authorizes the municipal manager to execute the proper contractual documents with Choice One Engineering of Sydney, Ohio, in the amount of $239,300 for the purpose of engineering and design of a sanitary sewer system to serve the village of Ludlow Falls. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Thank you. Manager Klein?
Thank you, Mayor. I know we've gone over this, but just for those that might be new to hearing about this, several years ago, the Miami Valley Regional Planning Authority had a study done for unsewered communities. One of the communities that was able to get the grant was Ludlow Falls. During that study, it was determined, they looked at all options, creating their own system, every option that you can conceive of. And the most cost-effective option was sewering all the homes to literally a lift station that would then be force mained to us, where it would gravity and go into our system. Since then, we have been working with some state-funded organization called RCAP that searches for grants to be able to pay for such systems. We were successful at being able to receive a $1 million grant from the Army Corps of Engineers out of the Louisville office. We have had subsequent meetings with them. Council, back in the fall, authorized us to go ahead and, when awarded the grant, to execute the documents. Those documents have now been subsequently executed. In anticipation, we knew that Choice One Engineering was going to be around $240,000, so for this year we budgeted $250,000, knowing that the Army Corps grant reimburses us for that work. And then, so we'll be contracting with Choice One to do probably about a year's worth of engineering to get to the point where Choice One will lead us to the point of getting what's called a PTI, or a permit to install. You get the PTI through the Ohio EPA once they review all Choice One's plans. Once we have that PTI, RCAP will be coming back to us to help us to get two other grants that organizations have already indicated that we would be eligible and would receive. One's a $600,000 grant. The other one's a $500,000 grant. That totals everything out at about $2.1 million. It's estimated to be around a $3 million project. We'll get to that bidding phase, and then both Ludlow Falls will be taking on some debt, and we've agreed to take on some debt, which we know our revenues will more than pay for any debt that we take on, and it also allows future development in areas that we'll be able to tap into. So that's the whole Reader's Digest version of the story. It's been many years coming, but tonight now is the authorization to tell Choice One to start getting busy.
Very good, thank you. Have you had any correspondence or communications with Ludlow Falls? Have they?
Yes, they've passed resolutions authorizing us to proceed, authorizing that they're going to be putting financial packages together for their community when the time comes. So yes, we have that.
Great, thank you.
Since it's our sewer system, sorry, probably everyone's wondering why isn't Ludlow Falls the recipient. We have full-time administration, we have the ability to be able to manage the grant, but it's also our system that they'll be tying into, and we will actually be owning the entire system once it is completely constructed. So technically, we're the grant recipient.
And is there, is that going to overtax our plant or anything like that?
No, we have a plant that all the studies have shown. We have a plant that can treat 1.5 million gallons. We treat approximately 300,000 gallons a day, and by tying in Ludlow Falls, the studies show that they wouldn't be producing much more than 30,000 gallons a day. So we still have plenty of capacity.
Very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Any motions?
Make a motion to accept CM-18-13.
Roll call, please.
Lamb,
Yes.
Cobb. Yes. Hurst.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Rudic. Yes. And Mayor Miller.
Yes. All right. Moving on the agenda, down to the municipal manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, guests, welcome this evening. Just a couple items, actually, for this evening. In your packets, you did receive agendas that showed 3 pieces of legislation for this evening. As I tried to indicate in the memo on Friday, that I was anticipating that we might be in a position to borrow funds for a fire truck that's needed. Just to give background information, and council's aware, after having meetings with the fire department personnel, there's a strong need to replace our current ladder truck due to some reliability issues. Quite frankly, we can't afford a new truck. Those are from $1.5, $1.6 million. So they have been searching high and low for a good used truck. In fact, the one that we're going to be retiring was a good used truck back in the day. In fact, it served us for well over 20 years and almost 30 years, I believe. No, 20? A little under 20. And we were able to find a 2009 Pierce Arrow from a community in the Dallas area in Texas. Our fire personnel did fly down with a mechanic. They gave it a thorough going over, and it is exactly what it says it is, for $475,000, so about a third of what a brand new truck would be. During our workshop, just a reminder, council did give authorization for both the finance director and myself, should this truck be the quality that we were hoping that it would be, that we would put down a $20,000 deposit. We did wire that money on Friday to secure the truck. There are a couple of other communities who we literally leapfrogged over. We were third to the party and first to be able to take action. So we got lucky. So that has put us together to put a plan together on, and financing. Now, interest rates have been all over the board, but as everyone knows, interest rates are going up. To give you a little more background information, this truck is going to be taken out of service in the community that it serves this week, I believe, or next week, and then it goes in for a complete refurb from the company that we're purchasing it from. Everything will then be certified under our names after it's gone over everything, 100% of the truck, and it will be deemed as good or as a brand new truck after it's been completely refurbed. That's going to take several months. In discussing everything and keeping my eye on the newspaper and the economy, and the feds have already said they're going to raise our interest rates 2 more times. We started shopping around interest rates now to get the best deal. In anticipation and what we had been told, we had a very attractive rate from a local bank, and we were told, and we're also looking at it from a cash flow and a cash management standpoint. We were really hoping for something of about a 10-year time frame. And what we were really looking for is we have been putting away, we have a truck replacement fund. That truck replacement fund has around $350,000 in it currently. We didn't really want to deplete that fund because there's another engine that needs to be either refurbed or replaced in the future, and we know that. So we still wanted to remain in that $50,000 budget, with about $25,000 still going into the truck replacement, with another $25,000 going to the debt of this new truck. So it was our intentions and our hope that we would put about $275,000 down, and that we would be able to borrow $20,000. The attractive rate that we were told last week was 3.8% for 10 years. However, when I was able to produce the legislation, they were not able to get me a term sheet for verification. I got that term sheet on Monday. The term sheet came back at only a 3-year term sheet. So that made the payments well over $77,000 a year, and we have a cash flow concern of making sure that that you're going to have to make a decision on what things you don't want to do if we're actually going to make a $77,000 a year payment. So we went back to the next best bank, which has been our bank that we do our banking with, and that's Minster Bank. I asked them quickly, can you hold on that 4.25% for 10 years? The other bank told me, I asked them why only 3. All of our discussions have been 10, and their answer was they can only give us a loan for the life expectancy of the truck. When I explained that to Minster Bank, without being prompted, Minster Bank said, your life expectancy should be about 20 years for this truck. And that's what our life expectancy and our hope is, that this truck will last 20 years. So they have said yes. He's holding it at 10 years at 4.25. That brings in the payments, biannual payments totaling just over $25,000. So that meets our cash flow demands. Unfortunately, Mr. Herbie's on vacation this week, but anytime he's a man of his word, so I'll get the term sheets and everything next Monday. One of the things I was very uncomfortable about this evening was trying to get this term sheet for the other bank was it had to be an emergency ordinance. And we never try to do an emergency ordinance. We don't like springing these type of surprises on anybody. So now I'm comfortable removing that one. We don't have to do an emergency ordinance. Minster Bank will get us the paperwork next week. We'll confirm the term sheets, and then they know that we do a 2-reading ordinance. Wouldn't mind, for their sake, doing just a single reading at our workshop and doing a final reading of approval in May, if that's acceptable. And then we're locking in our rate at an earlier time. Because everything that I have read and everything that's being told to me is that by the time we would actually need the truck, our rates could be upwards between 4.75 and 5%. So why not borrow the money now? Because that saves us $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in interest if we lock it in now and early. So we don't have to rush. We don't need an emergency ordinance. So that's where we're at. Now, having said all that, there is one little caveat, and that is we're purchasing a truck for $475,000. Our ordinances say that anything over $25,000 needs to be bid. Now, in this particular case, in our ordinances allows council to have the authority to waive certain items that have to be bid. In this particular case, I'm really not sure how we would seek bids for a used fire truck. And it is a specialty item. It's not like every day someone goes out, well, that we do go out and buy a fire truck, so it's not like we can put this out to bid. So there is a motion per our ordinance. The council needs to authorize us to go ahead and proceed down this path to waive the bidding requirements. So there is that.
Can this be a voice vote?
This could be a voice vote, yes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that it's in the best interest of the municipality to waive the formal bidding process for the purchase of the used 2009 Pierce Arrow fire truck due to its special nature and our inability to conduct a formal bidding process that would benefit the municipality as required in 33.18, Section 9 of the municipal code.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. The only other thing I have this evening, it's also about money. But it's very good news. You know that we've done the north water tower, and we got an excellent rate from OWDA at 0.65%. And I'm happy to announce that we were given the term sheet for OWDA for the south tower. Interest rates have gone up, but they've gone up to only 0.7%. So we had budgeted for a 3% interest rate, so 0.7 is well under. So council's already authorized us to do the OWDA loan. We've already executed the documents. We've already talked to Horizon Brothers, and we will have a resolution at the next council meeting in May to authorize Horizon Brothers to go ahead and do the south tower. We got an excellent rate of 0.7. I'm just happy to announce that.
Thank you, Manager Klein. Also had a letter here from Miss Reed. Do you want to cover any of that, or is that
Oh,
just?
no, I meant to, after our discussions at our workshop, you wanted reports, just like the fire department and finance department. I forgot to put that in your packets on Friday.
Okay.
So I just put them up. I told her to be a little more explanatory in the first one. The next monthly ones will just probably be numbers to give you a sense of all the activities that she'll be doing.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on to any old business. None. So I have just a few things for new business, and then I think Ms. Kopp has some, and anybody else. The first one is Meet the Candidate Night. It's being sponsored by the Union Township. We are hosting it here at the council chambers, and we'll be televising it live. That's at April 18th, and I believe that's at 6 p.m.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is. There's, I believe, 10 candidates confirmed.
Yes.
Yes, mostly for U.S. House and State House and a couple Senate seats.
Thank you. The next one is Shred Day on April the 21st. You'll be able to bring in all your documentation or anything that you guys would like to shred. And that is, and I apologize, I had all this here in front of me, ready to go, and then I jumbled it all up. So I have my times, but I was stealing your thunder, Matt, and I was
It's on the front page.
from 9 to noon. And that'll be at the Union Township building on Markley Road. And then the last one that I was going to bring up is our open house on May 14th. That will be from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be hosting all the public. We would invite everybody to show up and attend. You'll be able to meet police, firemen. I'll be planning to be there, so hopefully some of the other council members would be there. So we'd enjoy getting to talk to any members of the public, and look forward to having you guys there and hosting that event. So
There'll be an open house. All of the staff will be here, police, fire. Also, there will be Care Flight joining us, and EMS as well. There will be games, prizes for kids, face painting, things of that nature. Maybe we get a dunk booth and dunk the mayor? I'm
Vice
joking.
Mayor, maybe manager. Maybe?
I'm joking.
We'll all line up for that one.
And that's all I had for new business. I believe, Sarah, you had something?
I have some new business. I am pleased to announce our specialty shops in West Milton will be having the 29th annual Spring Open House coming up April 26th, 27th, and 28th. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Angel Heaven, the Hen's Nest, Patterson's Flowers and Gifts, the Treasure Chest, Wertz's Variety, Frame Mill Gallery, Fabric Crafts, which they're located in Ludlow Falls, and then my store, Revive It. I'm excited to be a part of it this year. We are open from 10 to 5, and all the shops are open. We'll be having door prizes and refreshments and just a lot of spring decor, so it's kind of a fun thing for ladies and gentlemen to come and walk around, so. And then also, our garden club will probably be meeting soon. If anyone's interested in joining, we would love to have you. We have lots of planting and watering to do, and hopefully maybe a new project this year. So if you're interested, you can contact Matt, and then he can get a hold of me or Karen. So that was it.
One question for both of you ladies. Farmers Market. I know that that's coming up.
Karen?
Have you guys put you on the spot?
The first one will be the second Saturday in June. I forget what that date is. Maybe
I don't know what that
June.
date is. Yeah, we're open, for new vendors to come, and you can sign up here at the municipal building. It's still $25 for the whole entire year, which is dirt cheap. June 9th, thank you. And we have just continued to grow over the past 2 years, so I'm excited, yeah.
Very good.
Should be good.
Great. Any other new business?
The mayor gave the corrected date for Union Township shredding. Our board out here and the original announcements from Union Township gave the 20th, which happens to be a Friday. In talking with Tina at Union Township, because they said the 20th by accident, the actual shredder will be on Saturday the 21st. They will be accepting paper and putting it in cans and holding it, if acceptable to those who want to deliver it, on the 20th. And then they'll shred it on the 21st. So, not to confuse everyone.
Would now be the right time to ask about some of the information in the letter from the code enforcement?
I can try to answer, sure.
At the bottom part, there's some stuff on meetings and on 2 of the variance requests. One of them was for an addition to the main building on 240 Market Street.
Mhm.
What business is that?
It's not a business.
Oh.
Market Street was just a home. He's putting a third, it's a third car garage. It's a garage attached to the main building.
Okay.
It's just being offset a little bit. And when it's being offset, it's actually encroaching into the rear yard by about 4.5 feet.
And then the next one was a request for a variance on a pole barn to be built.
That was on North Williams, it was a request. That one has actually been tabled
Okay.
for further information. I believe that hearing will continue on Wednesday, May 2nd, at 7:30. But there was some additional information that the Board of Adjustments wanted to know, and so we're researching that and getting answers to them.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Manager Klein, I, just to kind of piggyback off of what you were asking, Dan, there was a general cleanup letter that kind of went out. Were those to targeted residents in particular, or is that just kind of?
Wasn't a target, it was a general cleanup. What we did, actually, we started on the south side of town and drove every street through town, identifying properties that just needed cleaned up. There were other things like junk vehicles and exterior maintenance and everything that were more precise and targeted. And then what we did, she put together a nice general cleanup, more of a friendly letter, just, hey, it's getting to be spring, these are things you need to think about, these are things that need moved, these are things that need to be cleaned up. And then after that letter had gone out in a period of time, we did the exact same thing again. We drove the entire area. Those who had ignored the letter, then we got very specific, and then she starts the process of very specific letters, 10-day notices, 15-day notices, whatever the code requires at the time.
I know that the power washing of my house is definitely on my spring cleaning list. And hopefully, we've noticed, or at least I have, some other residences around town that could probably use that as well. So as the weather is breaking, and I wore my green tie and my green shoes in order to kind of will the weather to change here. So hopefully that 70-degree weather will stick with us so that we can kind of get some houses cleaned up. And I would encourage everybody else as the weather kind of turns that we kind of get out and help clean up our community. And I say, just even something as simple as a brush on the side of your house can really do wonders as to what things can look like. So. But thank you, Matt, and tell Lacey we said thank you as well.
Yes,
We
we'll do.
appreciate it. And also, Ben, if you don't mind, pass on a thank you from us for all the hard work that they did for researching that fire truck. I know that I know what kind of time and effort that goes into searching for those kind of things and actually going down to Dallas and making a trip like that. So we appreciate that work as well. Are there any other comments tonight for council or from council? Any comments tonight from citizens? Seeing none. Are there any motions for adjournment?
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.